Well, hello there, humans, bees, earthlings, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and if you're lucky enough to be doing it too. I'm Bushka Blitz, welcome to the channel. This is a double trouble review. We're having a look at both the ISU 152 and the SU 152 at the same time, in the same video. Mind blowing, as Bushka Jr. likes to say. And I'm doing that because these are two extremely different tanks that have a lot of points of difference, things that really make them stand out from one another, and which actually can make them very, very tough to play one after the other. People play the SU 152 and then they go to the ISU 152 and they're like, oh my god, I don't know what I'm doing. Stop. Rewind. That is patently ridiculous. I am completely full of rubbish. Warning, BS alert. Let's start this whole hullabaloo over again, because none of that's true. In fact, let's start off in a deep breath. Okay, so they're the same tank. They've both got 152mm guns, and you just want to get them up close as possible to the bad guys, press the button, and derp the crap out of them. And I'm going to have a little trip down memory lane with you right now and show you a little bit of footage from my original ISU 152 review way back in the day. And if you don't think the game has changed, and if you ever wondered why they flattened out maps, wait until you see this little number. This is absolutely glorious. And then we'll get back to the game. This game will win a Melanovka. And I just want to highlight that this was standard protocol back in the day. Listen to this bloke, Bushka. He knows what he's talking about.
Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you from the high desert air of
sound quality.
Campo, the deserted Mexican village. You can see we're overlooking here what was once a thriving, teeming town.
What a storyteller.
The railway ran through it. Now there's nothing but rat-like tanks jogging about the joint, getting lit up.
God.
I'm camping because
what a narrator.
I'm in the ISU 152 and my...
I've got an oxygen mask on, it's that high.
Beastly camper.
Look how tall it is. Look how high that tank is. Look at where I am. I'm like 3,000 feet above the floor. Don't do that in the 152s. Don't do it in the SU 152. Don't do it in the ISU 152. Get this mongrel as close as you can to the guys in the red tanks and then press the trigger. Look at where I am right here. Hello. How do you like them apples? And there's more coming right at you, because this is what these tanks are about. Aggressive, angry Russian gameplay. And some games you're going to fire at tanks that are enormous and bigger than a house, and you don't think you can miss, and the shell will literally come out of the gun at right angles and aim for the dirt, almost as if by magic. Other games, you'll fire off at a moving target 3.5 maps away, playing in another tier, and you will hit it in the ammo rack and incinerate it in one foul burst of Soviet glory. And that is exactly how it should be. You should be privileged and happy to be driving the chosen Derposaurus of the Russian tank tech tree. Get that up here with a big stick. Now, if you want to be serious about these tanks, at tier 7, this thing is absolutely an abomination. There are not many guns at tier 7 that are 152mm, and the ability of this tank to drop up to 1,000 damage quite consistently on lightly armoured targets is borderline obscene. The 152s make up for that with their horrific gun handling, their low penetration at tier 7, and their absolute liability once they have people on their sides or being circle of death. But for all that, if you want to have fun, then yeah, these Russian beauties are purpose-built for the fun to be had. These are all the funs. All the fun you can think of is contained right here in one 152mm installment. Now, I want to be absolutely abundantly clear. Like, have all the damage. Excellent. They have 120mm guns that have outrageously large amounts of DPM. But who wants to do that? Who the hell wants to do that? And there's my good mate Agon V. I haven't seen Agon in game for ages, but I did used to run these tanks together with him, and we had a great time. And it was nice that probably the last platoon I had with Aid before the kids and the work and everything got to him was playing light tanks, him playing a light tank and me playing the Derposaurus. Now, this is the other natural habitat of the 152. Camp Bush, Stet Ped. That is exactly what I am doing here. And the immortal words of some bloke from World of Tanks PC, I am camping the bush and I am statting the padding. This is where you want to be. You want to be somewhere you can't be hit. And then someone turns up and you're like, well, you know what? You know what else I like to do? I just like to hit point trade. You can have a hit at me, and if you hit me, I'm a big, enormous schnoz. The only armour I've got in my entire tank is the massive gun mantlet. Nothing's going to get through that. And if you hit me there, then I win. Excellent. And that's what you can do with a 152mm gun when everyone else has like a 90, a 75, or a 120. You get a better hit point trade. And nothing hit point trades better than one of these shoved into the side of your least friendly enemy. Now, the gun is not reliable when you're going for HE shots, but you should load an awful lot of high explosive. And the reason these tanks are so similar, the ISU 152 and the SU 152, is really in the HE penetration, right? The HE pen of the good old SU 152 and the HE pen of the good old ISU 152 is so very similar. And because they are the same caliber of weapon, the HE outcome is exactly the same. i.e., if you pen, an average roll with a HE shell is 960 damage. You heard that right, boys and girls. 960 damage. And that's a lot of damages. On the SU-152, your 152mm ML20 mod 1931/37 is 86mm a pen. On the ISU-152 in the famed BL10, with the famed BL10, you have 90mm of HE pen. It's just like, seriously? Both of them have about the same rate of fire, 4.95 for the ISU-152, 4.51 for the SU-152. Like, the real issue for the SU-152 is you only have 135mm of penetration on your AP shells. And then you got heat that does 250. The ISU-152 has 286 on its AP shells, and APCR that does 329. But that's irrelevant, because the most fun is finding the backs of tanks and the sides of tanks and sticking a whopping big sweaty gobful of high explosive Soviet style exactly where the sun don't shine, and watching them basically spread across the map in little bits. And I'm going to show you a few games, okay, a few serious games. One on the ISU-152 and one on the SU-152. But you can see I am not sitting in the back corner of the map in these tanks. Those days are absolutely over. If they were ever really amongst us, I probably just wasn't a good enough player back in the day to really take advantage of these tanks. Play them aggressively. Play them as an assault cannon. Play them as a lovely hit point trading tank. If you do 3 hit point trades, there's no tank left in the game who's going to be alive at the end of it. Basically at your tier, right? So if you can trade 3 times, you're going to average 2,000 damage plus. You know, that's pretty much the secret. Anyway, there's about 4K. I want to show you something. This is like I'm right in the thick of things here. Right in the thick of things. This is where I like to play the ISU-152. And it can create some very, very bad situations like this one here, where I am indeed looking quite dangerous. I'm driving forward towards that IS-6 because I know if I can get my gun mantlet in the front of his gun, he won't be able to pen me. And I'm being really aggressive and I'm dropping hit point bombs all over him. And then I'm just going to pull back and let someone else spank him. And then he's going to try and get over and I'm going to pump him in the side. And there you go. That aggression works wonders. Like, get up close, get up personal and pull the trigger. There's a T-49. He's suspecting there might be a TD here. He's suspected pretty bloody right, actually. And these are the reasons you drive the tanks. I'm going to show you some of these fun ones. There's a Type 62. He's pushed up into the C-cap. He's capping. Supremacy. Good work, mate. Enjoy that. back to the garage with you, my friend. Enjoy your time alone. There's an AMX CDC pushing along here. We're going to hit him for about 1,000. Load up the high explosive, 1,034. Excellent. Keep rolling. On you go. You're back to the garage as well. Somewhere down there is a T49. Oh, look. Hello, Dorothy. No more calls, please. We have a winner, 997. Are you getting the message? This is exactly... Oh, wouldn't it be funny if someone tried to push hill this late in the game and they were spotted? Yep, it'd be pretty bloody funny. Those things make me laugh a lot. They're also cannibalistic. There's an SU-152 over there. Let's shoot him in the side. There's a little panel there that is actually HE pennable. 952. Thanks very much. VK2801 is going to push over here, chasing some bloke. And I'm going to say, give me all your hit points. Give me all your loving. That's an M41 Bulldog. That's the still breathing husk of an M41 Bulldog with a lot less M41 Bulldog involved. And then I'm going to push down here while Aegon finishes off my dinner and have a look at the LTTB who is trying to shoot Aeg. I'm just going to shoot him for 900 as well. Because HE in the sides of light tanks at tier 7 is what makes the world go round. At 900, stubborn Emil. You won't be so stubborn after that one. I reckon you'll be moving. You get the message. You really get the message. I mean, there's an SP1C over there. Now there's just a skid mark where an SP1C used to exist. These are the ththings you do with 152mm guns. At tier 7, these are the things you do as often as possible with 152mm guns. And at tier 9, when you face tier 9 tanks, it doesn't matter even in the ISU 152 because you have like massive amounts of penetration on the BL10. You've got 329 on your APCR and 286 on your AP. That means that you don't really have to aim that hard at a tier 8 heavy and it's going to go through. And the tier 8 tank has fantastic dispersion compared to the tier 7, which has a absolutely maxed out, as good as it gets, 0.453 dispersion, which isn't good. Which is really not good, but it has to have that, because if it didn't have that kind of dispersion, things would be really tough at tier 7. And it's got a 4.9 second aim time, the tier 8. The tier 7 has one of the best aim times in the game at 4.6. I joke. It's obviously not a very good aim time. And here we are in a tier 8 game in the tier 7. And you can see, always carry plenty of HE. And there's the Soviet gun at its finest. 0.453 dispersion and a big aim time. And we managed to send a banana nearly perpendicular to the course of the gun straight down into the ground. And our IS-3 is doing his best impersonation of a flower pot over there on the right-hand side of the map. And things are pretty much looking very grim all round. Our good mate Aegon V is in trouble, but that's all right because we have what can best be termed as a very good equalizer in the terms of the 152mm. You saw we missed the first one completely, but that's all right because it's the law of averages. If you throw enough Volkswagen-sized shells at the wall, one of them is eventually going to do full damage. And the other tank, this is like the most ridiculously optimistic shot ever. I cannot believe that went in. Somewhere an Angel just lost its wings. That's just ridiculous. I can see 54 Lightweight has been all kinds of dynamic gameplay and is flanking here. So I'm going to do my level best to make sure that he enjoys the full measure of derp retribution, which he so very richly deserves. Hello, buttocks. Enjoy the buttocks. So things are looking a little bit more even. We've lost our wingman, Aegon V, but that doesn't matter because we have a 152mm gun. And that, again, equalises things in the most uproarious fashion. There we go. Don't aim. Just as if that should have gone in. Like, anyone who's driven these tanks before, though, knows that's exactly how it happens. You get shots that have no business whatsoever penetrate. Look at that thing. Look, I mean... And yet I do 600 damage. Like, it was a tomato a second ago. The heat helps, but, you know, hitting it, that pike nose at that angle without really stopping to aim and still moving is just very tough. But that's the joy of driving these tanks. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Sometimes you get a full HE pen, other times you don't, and other times you do. Get equalised. Enjoy the balance, Russia style. You were the lucky contestant in RNG's Smile Down Upon Us today, and we will be penning all our HE shots. Aegon is basically saying, don't count on the IS-3, because the IS-3 probably isn't going to help you very much. And then you get that. I mean, fully deserved. Fully deserved. After a couple of those shots earlier. And he's got the Porsche turret too, so it means he's got the stock turret. This, I'm sorry, he's not a Tiger 2. What am I talking about? It's a VK. This is a premium tank. He's got that Tiger Porsche turret though. Looks pretty cool when you see it in real life. I have seen that at Tank Fest. So that's the SU-152. Very, very straightforward. You're going to now see me play an SU-152 game, ISU-152 game, and you'll see some startling similarities in the gameplay. This one was a tier 8 game, which is obviously a step up, and that's probably why we got the mastery in this, because tier 8 games you're going to get more XP, so we get the mastery on that one, even though it's only 3,700 damage, which isn't massive for these tanks. So they can do big numbers, and it's about just under 1,300 XP. But 10 shots fired for 9 hits and 9 penetrations in the SU-152 is stupidly good. Like, come back and watch that. And then there's a stream I did like last week, I think, where I ran the SU-152, and I was in a game on Yamato Harbour, and there was fully aimed shots into the sides of tanks that were just flying about 30 feet in front of me and landscaping the terrain. It was amazing, and you just have to laugh when that happens, because that is these tanks in a nutshell. They are RNG on tracks. So here we go, we're pushing up the top on the same map, not coincidentally. I did try and choose 2 games that were kind of similar on the same kind of map, and we're going to release this one early, and it hits. Like, we don't even wait for the reticle to go down, because, you know, we are pros, and, you know, pros don't aim Soviet guns. Like, you just pour out a 40 of vodka as you press the fire button and hope that things go your way, and that's all there is to it. And there we go, do it again. Low rolling, but they've both gone in. Oh, hello, Dorothy. Someone has been very, very sneaky and is actually sniping from across the other side of the map. So I'm just going to scrape up the sides here. I'm using the hit point pools of all my friendly tanks here, which is a great thing to do. They really appreciate it when you don't actually... Oh, hello. Hello, we're back. The weatherman has forecast continuing bananas coming out the end of the cannon and a whole lot of terraforming. Hopefully this one comes good. Here we go. Let's aim. No! Bouncy. Bouncy McBouncerson. Yeah, probably shouldn't have pressed that button there. And we've realised now that we're far too far away. That was like 150 metres. And these guns only really seem to work at 50 metres and under. So we're going to drive all the way up here and just stick the gun on his side. There, that works a lot better, doesn't it? Much better. This IS-3 defender has panicked because he's seen my camo scheme and he's realised that I am 100% pro with a camo scheme like that. Nothing but the pro. And I'm definitely going to pen him. Here we go, 617, love it, can't get enough of it. And then I'm backing it up here, letting my swarm of teammates, my posse, come in here and do the business. These 2 tanks are so similar. They are so much fun. They are so built to be aggressive and just roll forward and use massive big guns. I mean, that has a full aim bloom that goes straight in with 152mm BL10. Get out of town. Absolutely ridiculous. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but, you know, a lot of it is truth. There's a lot of truth in this one. These are tanks that were built to frustrate and annihilate. I mean, there's 1,054 into the side. One shell goes into the dirt, the next one does 1,000 damage. You really don't know what you're going to get when you open the box. And I think that's half of the joy of running the 152s. The chosen Soviet derp monsters of choice. I used chosen twice there. Maybe I should cut that. No, I'm going to let it roll. There we go. On Bushka and Blitz, mastery after mastery, both on the same map. I thought that was very, very synergistic. The way they combined there to create a more potent force. Very, very cool. Look after yourselves, and until next time, stay safe on the battlefield.